Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. We've got a very special episode commentary for you today, Night by a Nose. But what makes this special, right? Well, every Knight Rider episode is special, but we wanted to take it to the next level. So, Jacob Peterson, our Knight Rider historian's junior associate, I guess you could say, from Denmark, made contact with and interviewed Toni Hudson, who played Maxine Fleming in this episode. It was an absolutely fantastic chat with her. So, because of that, we're going to do our commentary first. It'll be, maybe a little bit more compacted than normal because we want to leave plenty of time for Toni to talk about her memories of working on this episode. All right, enough of my chatter. Let's get moving.
Knight Rider. Michael and KITT are off to the races to save a beautiful jockey.
No kidding. Sounds like our party.
It's dangerous horseplay on Knight Rider. Then.
Production 58604, Night by a Nose. This episode was written by William Elliott and directed by Bernard McIvety. This episode originally aired on NBC Sunday night, 8 p.m. on January 13th, 1985. It was the 54th episode to air, but the 53rd to be produced. The synopsis reads as follows. When Maxine Fleming's horse, King Jack, takes a fall during a routine run, Michael volunteers to help her find the real reason behind the accident. Okay, without any further delay, let's dig in. The episode begins with this nice little montage. They're playing a sound-alike version of Bob Seger's Still the Same. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but the whole sequence, the whole montage flashes between Maxine riding King Jack and Michael driving KITT. But what makes it more interesting is that a lot of thought actually went into the angles and the scenes that they were filming. Because if you notice, we start out, we see kind of this higher level of Maxine riding King Jack. And then it switches over and we see a high level of Michael driving KITT. Then it switches back and we see a close-up of the front of King Jack. Then we see a close-up of the front of KITT. Then we see King Jack's feet. Then we see KITT's wheel. Then we see Maxine, a close-up of Maxine. Then we see a close-up of Michael. So a lot of thought went into that sequence, and I think it's just really cool that they took the time to kind of piece it together the way they did. Michael shouldn't be reading while he's driving. All right, so now Michael was pulling into the equestrian center, and the audio of this part of this scene, Michael talks about how they've just were winding up the Grimaldi case, and that's a reference to Gino Grimaldi, one of the producers of the show. But this location, the Los Angeles Equestrian Center, was the same location used for season 1's Forget Me Not, for the big climax there where Michael and KITT barge in on a horse show. And we get the one and only appearance of the auto currency dispenser. Well, we see it twice in this episode, but this is the only episode where we see this auto currency dispenser. Interestingly enough, this was placed in the insert dash, and if you look over here, all they did is they took the existing printer prop right here. So you can even see the ER right there of the printer, which was already there. All they did was they added this auto currency text right here so it could spit out of that same slot. They didn't extend this slot or anything. This was all exactly the way it was. They literally just added this label, and now voila, KITT has a auto currency dispenser. Okay, so now we move to the horse track here and take a look at KITT. And let's zoom in on KITT a little bit. This is the left-hand blind drive car. And if you notice right here, there's some kind of a box here, right? There's something there. And the left-hand blind drive car did not have this there a few episodes ago, and it wouldn't have it there for much longer. So what's this? What is this we're looking at? I theorized that maybe it was the relay pack for the scanners, but they usually put those under the hood. They wouldn't put it out front here. I don't really know what this is. It's only on this side. It doesn't appear on the other side. So I don't know, but it's a mystery. But like I said, it only appears in a few episodes and then it disappears again. If you're interested, the cars that they used in this episode, there were 6 of them. We have the roll-caged acrylic windowed jump car. We have the season 3 and 4 hero car. We have the right-hand blind drive car, the hardtop stunt car, the left-hand blind drive car here, and the season 3 insert car. Don Gordon right here makes a reappearance in the series. He was last seen in season 1's The Final Verdict, and he played a good guy there and he plays a bad guy here, so he's multi-talented. All right, so once again, we get these great Easter eggs on KITT's monitor. Well, I guess this one isn't as good as the ones we just saw in Custom Made Killer with, IP Daily and what was the other one? There was a couple other good ones. Anyways, but we see a list of names, and once again, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time we've pointed this out, we see Eric Vesper. We talked to Eric Vesper in the past. He was on the insert crew, which makes sense why his name would be on here. Chances are some of these other guys were probably on the insert crew as well. Not all of these guys. I don't think they had this many guys. But you can see as it scrolls, the names just start repeating. John Sitcom. That's probably a fake name, right? All right, so now Michael is pulling up to Kavanaugh's house. This house is the same one that we see in season 4's Out of the Woods, the one that's owned by Jonathan Dutton. And this is located at 782 West Potrero Road in Thousand Oaks. Let's take a look at it now. So there's the, if we compare, so KITT has pulled in here. So he's pulled in right about here. The house you can no longer see through all the trees right there. But if we go back over here and skip ahead, you can see this long tree line driveway, which is right here. So Michael's pulling up. This is another one of those times in season 3 where we see Michael driving up, or Hasselhoff driving up in the right-hand blind drive car, getting out, and the car continues on without him, all without cutting the scene, which again, really cool effect. You can even see here, he's pulling up and you can just see the seat, how it just looks different, right? There's no bulk here. You can see the flap is just kind of sunk in, and this looks different. And then we move ahead a little bit and you can actually see the shroud behind it. So just, again, this was the original hero car, now the right-hand blind drive car. So Michael goes into the gambling house, Kavanaugh's gambling house, and he shows the $50 bill, this $50 bill, to the guard at the front, and we see this close-up of it. So just out of curiosity, usually in movies and TV shows, the bills they use are fake, and they usually say like for movie production or something weird like that on it. But I looked up a $50 bill from 1984, and it looks identical to this. But if you look at these edges here, see how there's no border at the top and there's more border. I think this is a color photocopy of a dollar bill, of a $50 bill. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is not legit, but they did just photocopy it, which I don't think is legal. I don't think you're allowed to. Maybe back then you were, but I don't think you can photocopy money. Could be wrong, though. Michael then asks KITT to give him the winning numbers every time, and I'm trying to figure out an in-universe reason as to how KITT can control this wheel, and I'm going to assume that there's magnets or something else going on there that allows him to put the ball exactly in the right slot. In reality, if you look here, you can actually see fishing line. See this fishing line right here? That fishing line is directing where the ball is going to go, which seems interesting, right? It almost feels like they could have just filmed this wheel and the ball, and wherever it landed, that would be what Hasselhoff would say the number should be, right? Instead, Hasselhoff, he's picking a number, whatever number was in the script, and they're filming it to match that. It feels like that was the hard way to do this, but I'm not in movie and television production, so what do I know? All right, so the croupier in this episode is this lady. Her name is Leah Lombardi. We talked to her a number of years ago, and she had good memories of her time working on the show. You'd think because she was only in it for a few minutes that her time there was quick, but she actually filmed there, I think, over 2 or 3 days. And her role was a little bit bigger than what you see in the final version here. But she told us a neat story. There's a line that she says in this episode where close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades handsome. And the first time she did that, she swapped it and she said, close only counts in horse grenades and hand shoes handsome. And the whole crew started laughing, and she said it was the most embarrassing moment of her career. She ran into Hasselhoff, I guess it would have been about 10 years ago by this point, and at a restaurant, and went up and said, hey, do you remember me from Knight Rider? And they had a nice little exchange. But that's Leah Lombardi. Okay, so now we move forward, and we've got Rashid, played by Renee Asa, and we've got Tommy Lee Burgess and Doc Thorpe here. Renee, this is his second appearance on the show. He was in season 2's Diamonds Aren't a Girl's Best Friend. And then we've got this really nice white Ferrari back here. Too bad KITT didn't race that or anything. That's only in this scene for this one brief exchange. Okay, so moving forward, we've got KITT coming to Michael's rescue after he's dumped in the trunk. And this is the right-hand blind drive car. And the only reason I point this out is because look at how skilled those stunt guys are. These cars are not attached together. They're literally both being driven by stunt performers. And the distance between KITT and the limousine here, or the Lincoln, is so narrow. And they maintain that while this stunt guy jumps onto the hood. It's absolutely amazing. And then we get the big turbo boost. Again, this is the roll cage acrylic window jump car. You can see the acrylic windows there. And when he comes in for a landing, it cuts. This is the last frame before it cuts. But you can see it's just about to do a whole bunch of damage to the front of this car. But that's what this car was designed for. And then they pull around and they stop Lewis, who's driving the Lincoln there. This is the left-hand blind drive car. You can see the season 2 dash in this car. Don't really know why they chose this car, because it's being obviously driven by, supposed to be Michael. It's really a stunt guy, but not sure why they would have picked this car, because it wouldn't have been comfortable for this guy to be sitting in that blind drive seat, on the actual top of the blind drive seat. All right, so KITT's then analyzing tread patterns, and in reality, these are the tread patterns for Goodyear Eagle GT tires, which is what KITT had, not the tread patterns of the horse and trailer that KITT was supposed to be tracking. So he just scanned his own tire tracks. He doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, so now we've got Randy Kavanaugh in Lincoln. Michael and KITT are coming up and getting ready to stop him. If you look in the rearview mirror, this is that stock nose KITT. We did a whole video just on this. Actually, we did 2 videos on this stock nose KITT, identifying it, car 1961. Right here, the first time we saw this car as viewers was in Night of the Drones. The last time we'll see it as viewers is in Night Strike. But this is a kind of a blink and you'll miss it moment for this car. But we do see the back of the car a lot clearer. And we can see this is that one car that just had a whole bunch of screws put in that blackout, right? Normally there's just 4 screws at the bottom, and then there's a metal lip that holds the top on. But not in this case. They must have run out of those metal lips because they just screwed this sucker in. It wasn't coming out. Yeah, and there's a better view of it right there. And then we have reused footage. They do the oil slick. This is reused from the pilot. This is the general purpose stunt car, which no longer existed after season 1. just dumping out the oil there. And then we move this long shot. This is still that stock nose kit. In fact, if you look, you can see how it's a real blunt front edge, and that's because it just has a stock Trans Am nose on it. So now we're at the season 3 insert car, and Michael's getting ready to say to pop the T-top. If you look here, this is the car. This car was a hard top that they converted into this working T-top setup. By this point in the series, those working T-tops no longer worked. And because of that, you'll see they had this red strap here. And then if you look, you can see the strap starts to pull it open whenever Hasselhoff says open the sunroof. So the strap's pulling it open, the window's going down, but it's all a manual thing. There's someone up on the roof tugging on that. All right, so now we've got the left-hand blind drive car stopping the truck here, and we see a nice close-up. This is, again, reused footage from the Rotten Apples and or Dead of Night, whenever KITT microjams the bus in Rotten Apples and the the van with the deadly chemicals in Dead of Night. I'd have to look to see if it's the same in all 3. I know this was reused for at least one of those appearances. Okay, like I said, my commentary is pretty short today because I want to leave plenty of time for this excellent conversation between Jacob and Toni Hudson. She shares fabulous stories about her time working on this episode. So I hope you enjoy. I'll be back next time to dig into another fan favorite episode, Junkyard Dog.
It's all about Knight Rider when I have the pleasure of talking to Toni Hudson. Toni played the memorable role of Maxine Fleming in 3rd season episode Night by a Nose. Back in the 80s, Toni also played parts in The A-Team, T.J. Hooker, and The Love Boat. Now, I haven't seen Toni talk that much about her time, her week on Knight Rider. This episode was filmed in the beginning of October back in 1984, so more than 37 years ago. And I hope that watching this episode with me will bring back some good memories for her. So enjoy this conversation / commentary with Toni Hudson. Yeah, hi Toni.
Hi Jacob, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I am so delighted to have you here with me today, talking about Night by a Nose, the episode that you had your very big part in back in 1984. It's wonderful to see you, and I'm so happy to have this opportunity. And I must say, you look just like yourself. I'm quite impressed.
Oh wow! Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, how you have accomplished to stay so young. You know, it's been almost 38 years, and I don't think any of the viewers out there are in any doubt who you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I turned 61 in November. Not shy about sharing my age, because I took it as a very serious thing when I was younger, and so yeah, it's paid off quite a great deal.
Yeah. Oh, great. Now we're coming in a deep dive into this episode and watching just the intro right now. And when this kicks off in a couple of seconds, this is with you on the center stage. You're riding a horse, being on grounds. I don't know how much you can talk and how much you can remember about the scene that we're going to watch here. I for sure enjoy it big time, you know, with KITT racing, with a horse racing, two black beauties into the open. Can you tell me how do you remember this scene and shooting this scene?
Well, this scene was quite fun to do because I was on the horse for a bit of it, but not as fast as my stunt double, who was Sherry Peterson. Sherry Peterson worked in the stunt world and actually doubled me in quite a few movies. We went to Washington, D.C. for a different film, but I brought her in because of the horse bit, and was really good on horses. So a lot of the riding, let's watch. Okay, so that's me a little bit on the horse at my pace, but they made it match. That's Sherry Peterson. So they flipped in and out. Close-ups are more me, the wide was more Sherry, because there's a fall. So they make sure that, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not falling.
Okay. You know, you must have read the script, and it's like this is not something for an actor who has never been on a horse. Had you done any horse riding before?
A little bit, yes. In middle school, which is like 12, 13 years old, I lived in Santa Barbara, and a really good girlfriend of mine had horses up there. And so I was exposed to them then. And then I lied my way into a Japanese commercial with Dennis Weaver by saying I knew how to ride a horse, which was English posting, you know, like the, and faked it and got the job. And yeah, so just here and there, but I'm a coordinated athletic person, so I kind of can mimic something and learn quickly on the spot.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. And we see you on the horseback, and I must say I think it's quite a good match with your stunt double, because today it's not on a 21 inch TV tube. It's on a big flat screen and in high definition, and I think it's actually quite difficult to see when it's you and when it's not you. I think it's you on the horse up there, isn't it?
That was me getting on the horse, yeah. Definitely. And then when it's going fast and you can't really see my face and the head's going like, that's me. That's me.
You're going pretty fast there.
Then it goes, and then it cuts away again.
Yeah.
That's not me. But Sherry Peterson, she stunt doubled me in a movie called Prime Risk. Yeah. That I starred in, that Clu Gallagher and Timothy Bottoms and Lee Montgomery, some really good actors from the past were in. But Sherry Peterson, yeah, she doubled me there, and it was a lot. So that fall was Sherry. Yeah. And then when he turns me over, boom, now that's me. So that's me. When he turned the girl over, it was me. But she fell, it placed me in. And that's me, and I don't know what happened to him. And now I hear a gunshot. Oh my God, he's dead.
Yeah, I think we get one of the loudest screams on Knight Rider. Not often were people or things killed here. So.
Yeah.
That was something, Tony. And also when we get into the next part of and the next scene, we can see that you're very sad and you're very emotional, but still you're very confident. How did you prepare for that role? And being in that role?
You know, it was quite easy because I'm playing Michael Knight's ex-girlfriend. Really, they don't play that up much, but because we had a relationship, I felt that they should be very comfortable around each other. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like I know him, he knows me, our rhythms, our energy. So. But the idea that here he is now going to help me figure this out, you know, it allowed me to be vulnerable in his presence because we had a past, but it also allowed me to be confident at the same time because we had a past. I think that combination allowed her to play that line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how was it? Now we're going to see you acting with David Hasselhoff. Did you know Knight Rider when you came on the show?
Did I know the show itself?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Knight Rider was a big show. Wasn't this Stephen J. Cannell as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So here's the connection. See, Stephen J. Cannell knew me when he was alive, and was doing this show because I was married to Dirk Benedict, who was Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica, and then on the A-Team he was Faceman. So Stephen J. Cannell did the A-Team. So I already knew Stephen, and when you become part of that crowd, you know, they go, oh yeah, no, Tony could do that. So they brought me in. I had to audition, but they knew who I was already.
Okay, yeah. So and now, do you remember this this scene? When I watched the episode, it looks as if you didn't do much studio work. A lot of your scenes were on site on some location.
Yeah, this was the Equestrian Center in Burbank, California, not far from Disney Studios out there. And they use a lot of the Equestrian Center out there for movies. And that's where we shot this, with the stables and the track. So it was very close by.
Yeah. So
and
how did that work? Did the whole crew and actors move out there for a day, or did you stay overnight for a couple of days? How did that work?
Because Burbank is pretty much considered local, in reference to the studio, Universal, and all of that. So you were hired. If you're hired local, then you're responsible for getting yourself there, you know, to the location when the locations are within a certain parameter. Yeah, so if you're, in other words, working and living at home, they don't give you a daily money, which is called per diem, to pay for your hotel and incidentals because you're at home. So yeah, you just get yourself there and to and from, and then they feed you on set. So, but this equestrian center took maybe 2-3 days. We were out there for 2-3 days. We had stuff on the track, but just stuff in the stalls, and then a couple of, so like 2 or 3 days that we would go out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just saw the scene where you and David walks along the horse track, and KITT is driving behind you. Do you remember anything about that? Because it must the car must have been, as we call it, blind driven, with a guy sitting and not being visible.
Yeah, what was interesting, a little bit of behind the scenes, you know. So the KITT car obviously is a mystery to the people who watch the show, right? And I'm an actor, and I'm in the business of making art and creating a visual that looks like one thing and maybe is another. So here I am on this show, but my husband at the time was on the A-Team. So talk about stunts and faking it, and you know, I mean, I know how it works. So, and then I've been on so many other shows and movies. So by the time I'd get on here, it was so funny. So David Hasselhoff and I are sitting in the car waiting in between shots. We've got the walkie-talkie, the big friggin' walkie-talkie, so they can tell us to go in the KITT car, you know, to drive. And while we're in there, you know, bless his heart, he's trying to impress me with going to like Africa or Germany, singing, and the fans and how many people and what that felt like. And then he finally asked a question. And I responded that the only time I've ever experienced that was when my husband and I went to Germany, Holland, and the A-Team went. And it was the biggest turnout since the Beatles in 1956. So it was like, yeah, I'd experienced that big crowd thing. And then he goes, who are you married to? And then the conversation started to go, but so it just changed. Like he was trying to impress me at one point, and then he realized, oh, I think she understands how this all works.
Yeah.
So we became buds, and it was easy. It was really easy to work with him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So, we also.
So my point is, the stunt driver who drove the car, I think I even knew the guy. Like so many of the stunt guys who worked on Knight Rider worked on the A-Team. They all kind of worked on a lot of the same shows, especially if Cannell or Glenn Larson or somebody's producing the show, they used the same kind of guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I kind of knew, it wasn't a big surprise to me to have a car following me. It looked like there was no one in it.
No, and you can say that it was a big thing back in those days with the abilities that KITT had, and of course also a huge part of the hit of the show. The way.
Yeah, well,
David,
it is its own character.
Yeah, it is.
Look, he's having a scene with KITT right now.
Yeah.
He's talking to the KITT car, trying to get his betting tips, and he thinks the car is trying to just, mess him up. But he thinks he's getting betting tips from a talking car, or a guy inside the car.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk. We should talk a bit about how you got the role. You have talked just a bit about it. Any more words on what went on in your life at that point? How you got the role, and also what it meant for your career afterwards.
Well, I think it was Victoria Burrows. I think was she the casting person? We'd have to look in the credits. Yeah. But there was a casting director who, very familiar with me and my work, because casting director's job is to keep their eye on the talent that's in Hollywood, and they have them on their lists and certain types, someone needs a movie filled with a character like this. Toni Hudson's in that category, bring her in. So I knew the casting person, Cannell was producing, it's his show. So it was just kind of an easy thing. I went in and did the audition and just got the job. I did audition, but it was a straight, they called me in, I auditioned, and it was just a one-off. I didn't have a call back. They just once I auditioned, they hired me. And that's unusual, but that's because of the relationships, I believe.
Yeah. So how did it work? This was, I think, I can't remember if it was 8 or 10 days of shooting schedule. How was the shooting day for you? On some days you must have had a lot of scenes, and other days maybe not as many scenes. How was the working schedule on set?
Well, it's kind of easy to tell which days were longer than others for me. Because let's say, like out on the racetrack, all that racetrack stuff, I have stuff on the racetrack. So when the whole crew and everybody's moved to that location, then I'm mostly working those days because all of my scenes, or a lot of them, are on the racetrack, right? So that means that day or two I would work a lot. But then they move into the other people's stables or the office of the vet or somebody, and I don't have a lot of scenes. So then I might not even work a day or two. They call it, you're on hold, or we'll notify.
Yeah.
Because weather could change the location. In other words, you're not supposed to shoot today, but they were going to shoot outside. Now it started raining. So now they're changing the schedule. They're going to move inside. So now you have to work today.
Yeah. So a lot of changes could happen also because of weather-related stuff.
No, absolutely. And you think you have a whole day off. You scheduled a lunch with your girlfriend. You said you'd call your mother and talk to her about such and such. And then 30 minutes later, your will notified turns into, you got to get here in an hour and a half.
Yeah. So, what did you do then? Were you on set while not shooting? Did you interact with others from the cast and crew? How did that work? How's the whole relationship thing when you're on a set for 8 or 10 days like that?
Well, depending what your interaction is with each cast member. Like, I don't think I worked with him.
No, with Edward Mulhern.
Yeah, Edward Mulhern, except maybe in passing in the whole episode. And then so maybe I would see him at lunch. So say maybe he shot all morning, then lunch is served, and I am brought in at lunchtime to shoot my scenes after lunch. So I can go to lunch, go to hair and makeup and shoot, but I'll overlap with him at lunch and go, oh, hey, but we never worked together or something like that. So that could happen too. Yeah.
But you had quite a lot of scenes with David, of course.
Yes.
Can you talk more about how was the atmosphere on set, and how was David? You know, we've already established that he didn't have to brag to you about anything. He knew about it all.
Yeah, I mean, he was thinking like, I mean, not everybody is married to a TV actor person and travels in the circles of, episodic TV or fans screaming for you. I mean, I've experienced it not personally like my ex-husband, but, I've experienced what it feels like, sounds like.
Yeah.
And so it made him actually more comfortable around me, because he didn't have to put on airs anymore. He could relax a little bit. And we spent a lot of time in the kit car hanging out, waiting. So there's a lot of conversation in between. Then the scenes that would come up later in the episode, which we'll get to when the fire happens.
Yeah, we can see you now driving in the kit car.
Yes, there's a lot of time. So even just that drive up, we have to turn around, go back up, and set the car. We sit in. They have to adjust whatever they're adjusting. Then we get a walkie-talkie thing. Okay, ready, and action. But you have to hit a mark. Not only do you have to hit a mark with, I got my hair clippy in my hand. Not only do you have to hit a mark with the car, but if there's a camera move that's supposed to come in as you're coming in and then see through the window to the front door of the vet thing, if that doesn't mark up, you got to do it again.
Yeah. So not everything easy in one take.
Yeah, and even though all it is the car driving up and us getting out, it could take 4 times, because there's a dance. There's a choreography of a dance with the camera people, the mark, the door, the guys showing up at the door as we, it's a dance. And so that's why they tend to hire the same people when they find a good crew, because they start to understand everybody secondhand. They don't have to say as much. They understand what people want. So this is now the fire's going to happen here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We're trying to find information out. So we're distracted. We're distracting this veterinarian guy while I go snoop around in the stalls.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking through the files, really trying to find info, but also stalling so I can nose around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, another yelling from my character, Michael.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you look very comfortable being around horses.
The trainers, the handlers of these animals that are beautiful animals. A lot of these people worked on A-Team as well. I knew a lot of them.
Okay.
But they're so good at making actors feel comfortable, and they're always very safe and showing you how to handle them. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the horses, and they tell you which ones not to go straight behind them, so you don't get kicked. Every horse has its own personality. So here comes during doing the fire thing. The fire thing took 2-3 days.
Okay.
Attempts, because there's 2 days, maybe it was 2 solid good days inside the veterinary office and the fires, because that's where the stables were. So now here comes it was
talk more about this scene, because it's quite dramatic.
It was real fire, and I was in there just a quarter of the way in. Of course, the way they shoot it and the angle, it looks like I'm more surrounded by fire than I actually am, but I was in the heat of things. And let's see when I come running out. Well, when he runs in and saves me, I'm in there. He has to come get me.
Yeah.
The blanket is coated with, the anti-fire retardant stuff, so it's safety. And there's people all over with, hydrants ready to, if they need to. But the fires are really just, blocked by hay bales, and it's just a thing. It's not really on fire. It's like a torch that's and then certain amounts of it get on fire. But it's a controlled environment, even though it does not look that way.
Yeah.
So this is so he wets it, which is the retardant, but you don't know that. And this scene, him going in and getting me. So yeah, that's his stunt guy going through the fire. But we're in there. Yeah. I mean, we're surrounded by hot flames.
Yeah.
On at least 3 sides.
Does David actually carry you? Is that you?
That's me and David, yes.
Yeah, great. So
yeah,
because when I watched it, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
but it is.
We did that. It was just the way they had everything logistically staged that was safe enough for us to do.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think for the next scene, you guys are both in KITT. So how was that, getting the car all wired up with cameras outside? Did you get in before all the cameras were put on, and how did that work?
Well, they're rigged so that you can get in the door, I mean, the way the rig is on the window door, so you can open the door and close it, and the rig is still connected.
Yeah.
At least the one that they used. Also, they're like that one right there is through the front windshield, because you can see a slight reflection.
Yeah.
So that's in more of the hood of the car. So there's several different cameras, but they can't have the window camera when they're shooting me with the hood camera, right? They can't have that camera there because it would be seen right there.
Yeah.
So you have to do the scene with the hood cameras, and then you got to do the scene with the, the window cameras, and then and then they cut it all together for their look. So this is still outside the car cameras. Now that's a wide shot again, pulling in. Now they went back to the hood camera because of the reflection on the window, still the hood camera, but my side. So you got to do both sides. Yeah. Now we're discussing,
Yeah, do you remember, was that different KITT cars? Because there must have been probably 4, 5, 6 different cars for an episode like this. And
I love this character. I love this guy.
Yeah, this is a typical.
Do you know what his name is? Love him. He was so funny. He was so good. Yes, to answer your question, Jacob, there were several cars. I was aware of at least 3 or 4 when I was around, because there's the one that doesn't have anything in the dash. It doesn't have all the fancy stuff because it's not an interior car, it's an exterior car.
Yeah.
And that's usually with the windows all blacked out and the guy, behind the seat with the little, mesh so that he can drive, without being seen. So it's a bare floor, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So there's that car. Then there's the car that is the interior car where they shoot all the bubbles and the gadgets and the lights. And it looks good when you shoot across, my shoulder to him, and that you're still getting the interior of the car. So I think they call that more the hero car.
Yeah.
The one that has all the fancy stuff. Yeah. And then, and then there's the fast one that does the stunts, that would jump, or there's all sorts. Yes.
Yeah. And we will also see that later you are, at least for a very short note, in one of the scenes where a lot of stunts are happening with the cars. But we will get to that, of course. So how much did you know about the cars, both in advance, but also how much did you learn about it? I guess that it wasn't for everyone just to get in the hero car. That was probably something for David and his partner in the scene only. How did that work?
So, say the question again.
How it worked with the different cars? If you have any recollection about some of the cars you weren't able to go into, and others were.
Again, totally, yes, I understand your question now. It just depended on what the car needed to be used for. Like right now, the windows are not tinted. You see that? And so sometimes, obviously, when KITT's trying to be private, all of a sudden it goes boop, and the windows go dark, and they're dark. Well, there's two different cars. Obviously, the window doesn't just go boop and turn black. So there's two cars that have windows you can see through. So you want to see that it's David driving the car. You don't want Michael Knight in a car that has black windows because you don't know it's Michael Knight. So you got to have the windows open, like clear. So there's just that difference alone is a different car. Yeah. And so it just depends. If it's a car going fast from the exterior, zoom, it's a blank car inside. They're just, or just nothing fancy, and it's just the exterior, you know. And it depends. Do they need to see who's in there or not see who's in there? You know?
Yeah. So,
very convenient, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you have memories about? We've talked a bit about David, but memories of some of the other staff, some of the other actors that were in this episode.
Yes, who's the female sidekick?
Patricia McPherson.
Yeah. Yes, I love Patricia. For some reason, her name was escaping my brain. Patricia McPherson and I have run our careers in and out of each other for a long time. So we kind of, acquaintance knew each other when I was on the episode. And then years later, Louis Van Amstel, who was one of the pro dancers on Dancing with the Stars, had a local class in the San Fernando Valley, a ballroom dancing exercise. And Patricia would go to this class. So I worked on Dancing with the Stars for 10 years and got to know Louis, and he's like, come to my class. So I go to the class, there's Patricia. And then she was part of would go to breakfast, and then it was Denise Richards, Lisa Renna, Patricia McPherson, myself, just Mary Margaret Humes, who was on Dawson's Creek. So we would all take Louis' class and go to breakfast afterwards. So I kept in contact a little bit with Patricia. Other than that, I've run into David there's a picture of David Hasselhoff and I on the carpet, Golden Globes, red carpet. Somewhere else I ran into him. Many times I run into him, and he's just very nice and says hello, and yeah.
Great. Maybe we can talk a bit about also what you have been doing since when was Knight Rider in your Hollywood career? We can call it that, because you did a lot of other things. So tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I've done just as many movies as I have done guest starring on an episodic of television. So I mostly started in the feature film arena. And then getting married, having babies, getting divorced, getting married, having babies, getting divorced, makes you jump around from feature films to episodic TV to doing a commercial, because your schedule shifts and what you're able to do and not do. So I kind of kept working the whole time, but not like I was. And the episode of Knight Rider was early in my career, early in my career. But it was just early in my career. And then I went on to do many movies. And I just produced a movie 2 years ago, called Charlie's Christmas Wish, that Lionsgate distributed and brought out last Christmas during COVID. We still have not received our theatrical release because of COVID, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's just a family Christmas dog, homeless veteran themed movie that's, really sweet, and you can watch it on PureFlix and like Amazon Prime. But that's like my latest movie. But I just finished my third book, which is called Tinder Love, based on fantasy dates from being single. And my audiobook came out last year, which is on the health food lifestyle that I've been living for over 45 years, that my ex-husband Dirk Benedict from the A-Team introduced me to. And so I have a company called Correct Living, and I teach people how to live a consciously proactive, preventative lifestyle through food And I've been doing that for over 40 years, raised my children that way. I did not vaccinate them. They breastfed, they ate all the healthy foods. And yeah, that's how I've done it my whole life. And I know that's why at 61, that, knock on wood, that my health has been my wealth, definitely. And I'm very proud of that choice. It's a commitment, but it's definitely a choice. So the health world is very big. I've invented a workout called Boogie Bands that I'll be bringing to market through a feature film that I wrote called Living on the Fringe.
Okay, yeah.
And and then I want to turn the book Tinder Love into a television series. So, and then I'm actually right now in the middle of editing and post-production on a documentary called My Journey with Joy, and about a gentleman's grief, losing his wife. She passed away, and what he's been doing to get through it. It's a very interesting, unique story. So we're in the editing process of that documentary that I've directed and produced. So I mean, I'm a constant creator. I'm a conglomerate about to happen, Jacob.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and I've also did, of course, a bit research before this, and I must say you are very, very active in different areas, and I must say I'm quite stunned that you can do all that you do. And at the same time be active as an actor and producer and everything. You are a writer and so a lot of talents.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm living more authentically, truly who I am as Toni Hudson than ever before.
Yeah.
And I've just fallen in love again, and it's quite lovely. Because I've been single for a good 7-8 years and enjoying it and really doing a lot of writing and creativity and that's what I think about life. I think I'm not going to be one who goes and retires. My life is about just creative contribution where it can affect one's life in a positive manner. That can come in many forms. I have an album of songs that I've written and recorded. I write, sing, dance, act, produce. I'm like what do you call it? A mega threat.
So I imagine that some of the lockdowns through COVID haven't been very good for you. It's been difficult to not do anything, or how have you coped through that?
Just the opposite for me.
Okay.
The whole pandemic thing allowed me to go deep, to dive. Here comes this whole stunt scene. This took a minute. This took a 2-day thing to shoot this. But no, during the COVID thing, I was allowed to take a deep dive and really discover who I was, what I wanted to do. And because the situation was a situation, there's nobody around there telling me I can't start writing this or that or so I just started working on me and what I wanted and what I wanted to have be my legacy creatively. So I just really dug deep and I grew a lot, not in size so much as
you look pretty much like yourself.
Yeah, no, I didn't gain the COVID-19.
No. A lot of people did.
Right? They call it the college 20 or something. I did not gain the COVID-19. No, in fact, I got stronger and in better shape. I started doing different ways of exercising. I would go outside with sand weights on my ankles and on my hands. I'd put my music on or my motivational people that I've come across and found during the COVID situation that just it grew me from the inside out. Yeah. And I think the whole pandemic thing was basically a universal pause button for everybody. Yeah. And everyone responded differently and had a different reaction. But I think it allowed us all to go, okay, what's important to me?
Yeah, exactly. To find out what's important. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So So it wasn't a hard time for me. Actually, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was slightly disguised at the beginning. Didn't know it was a blessing, but became quickly aware that it was.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's very difficult, different from person to person. Some people never really learned to navigate it, and others embraced it, and found out more about what the meaning of life is actually about.
Well, yes. I mean, the whole balance, nature's balance is yin and yang, right? It's acid alkaline, it's sodium potassium. That's just nature. That's science. Talk about follow the friggin' science. I mean, that's what the whole thing is in nature. And if that's nature and we can actually navigate that and understand it, then we're using nature to our benefit. But they hide the truth about nature because they want us to be, there's Patricia, they want us to be symptomatic and reactionary instead of prevention and proactive. And so I'm all about a consciously proactive, preventative lifestyle instead of a reactionary one where you're doing your backpedaling trying to figure some shit out because you've just been eating whatever you want for 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of people are doing. They're going, oh man, I've been duped. I had no idea this was in that. I had no idea they were making me drink that and it had that in it. And I had no idea. Guess what? For 40 some odd years, I had the idea. I knew.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I changed my thing. Yeah.
So great. Yeah, we're coming into. I don't know why I can suddenly hear myself now. So it's over. Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah, we're coming into the end of the show now, and you have some scenes. Also I think stunt scenes. So we're going to talk about them in a little time. Have you got any response from working on Knight Rider when you did it and in the following years?
Yes, I have a fun story. It must have been, there I am. I hear my horse. What?
Yeah,
that
you do.
That cannot be King Jack. King Jack. King Jack. I think that's what I said. King Jack. Look, King Jack. Just take my glasses off.
It's you.
Yeah, no, these were easy. These were easy because it's just being happy. You know, I'm just being happy. Of course, then they come along.
Yeah.
Ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, but how about the horse? You know, it's not. It couldn't have been just everyday work. Did the horse just do as it should?
The horse was pretty solid, yes. A couple of times, you know, you get ready to shoot. The guys are walking up like that shot right there. I'm brushing the horse, but they're startled by the guys walking up. So, you know, but then again, those accidents, those are sometimes happy accidents. It makes the horse and the handler relationship more authentic because you're dealing with a horse. Even though you didn't plan it, they go, oh, whoops, sorry, I just hit the computer. Let's keep it, you know, because that looks good. So, yeah, I'm an Italian. I'm sorry. I'm talking with my hands.
So he's grabbing you pretty firmly there, and taking you away. Any memories from this scene? And you know what is happening next?
Yeah, no, this was out, way out in the Palmdale area, Highway 14, and pretty deserted area. So we were able to kind of take control of some big dirt roads and not have any interruption. But yeah, because it was, it's driving. The guy goes from the trailer to the car. Then I have to let the horse out. There's a lot of timing issues, and it was shot in like 3 or 4 pieces. So, I mean, as you can see, but a lot of screaming and rescuing.
Yeah.
From many angles.
Yeah, and a lot of I guess stunt work also.
Yes, just being there, watching him do it. Yes.
Yeah. So because you were you of course at the end of it all you get the horse out from the trailer, but you're also in the car. I think when a lot of action is taking place. I don't know if David is actually on top of the trailer at that moment, or how it's working.
You know, good question. We're gonna have to watch this together, Jacob, and find out.
Yeah, because I can see you're squeezed in the middle of the front seat of the car.
Yeah, we were going pretty fast, but it was you know, really wide open desert area, so it was like not. I think it was maybe even a new highway out in Simi Valley. Now that I think about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a pretty deserted, deserty area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see where this. Yeah, it's kind of where there's no houses and nothing.
Yeah.
So now he's trying to haul ass to save me because I've been taken.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not any good in Michael Knight's regard. So yeah. We can see it now with KITT coming up in fast pace behind you.
Oh yeah, they sped that up though. You can see that, right? The way that car comes around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, right. And I think do I look behind? Do I see him? There's a moment where I think.
Yeah, he's coming.
Oh, he comes up alongside. I think that's
yeah.
what.
We can see that. There's definitely a moment where you're in the car and a lot of action is happening. We can see you're squeezed in.
Mm-hmm.
So he's yeah. but did you see all this? We have a car going. It's
yeah. No, I'm present during all of the shooting of this.
Okay. So you see how they set up this whole scene.
Oh yeah, no, the stunt guys are. I'll tell you when I think it's David and when I think it's a stunt guy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's obvious when it's David at times, but let's see. And I forget who doubled David in this. Could have been Norman Howell. All right, so he's gone. He's toast.
Yeah. So
we got rid of him.
Yeah.
Now here comes the climb out the roof into the thing.
Yeah.
So obviously still David. Not David. Not David. Not David. Not David. Not David. David. Not David. David.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but we also had a brief glimpse of you being in the car. Do you remember for how long you in the car there as well? Yeah.
Yeah. No. This whole battle went on for a while. See. I can't even remember. Okay, here I am trying to escape.
Yeah.
Get the horse.
Yes.
Yeah, the physicality of this. Yeah, sometimes you get bruises unintentionally, only because you do it 2 or 3 times and they're grabbing the same arm in the same spot and you're trying to look authentic, so you pull away and they're trying to look authentic and hang on, and so inadvertently you do get. But all this horse stuff, you know, the horse rearing up, that was all there when I was there. Yeah.
So how much did you rehearse a scene like that?
Oh, here's the tail end of that. So you know, so when we shot at the track, the beginning scene, I just went and changed my shirt and we shot this scene on the same day.
Yeah.
Even though it's at the beginning and the end, but yes. So just thought I'd throw that in because now I'm in the shirt. Yeah. I just changed wardrobe and then he showed up and they showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually do the last scene here with David, with Edward and Patricia as well.
So I forgot. That's pretty much my only scene with Edward was right there.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
And this guy thinks that's who the guy was inside the car, giving him the tips.
Yeah.
Hey you.
Yeah.
What's up with this?
Have you?
We're talking. Huh?
Have you watched the episode since a lot, or because it's like it's all coming back to you. It's wonderful having this conversation because it's like you remember everything from the time.
Well, yes, actually, I put together a 5-minute. I call it a reel, REEL, but it's really like a little mini movie of some of my work. But the reason I made it was because I had a big gap between my acting career being active. So I didn't have a lot of current work to put on a reel, right? My actor's reel.
Yeah.
So I said, but I have such a body of work. How do I make a current reel and let him, there's Glenn Larson. No, I wasn't even friggin' Stephen Cannell. It's Glenn Larson. There you go. But I looked through all my old footage often because I was using the old footage. So let's say I'm talking about past lives as Tony right now today, and I talk about being a horse owner. And as I say horse owner, we cut to my scene in Knight Rider on the horse.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be funny, like the episodes and the movies that I was in is my fictitious past of becoming a woman.
Yeah.
So I made this little movie. And so, I did go through a lot of footage and I did see it not too long ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Long answer to a short question.
Yeah. I love it. It's fantastic. So, we've the episode is over now. Can you share some thoughts? And now I've gotten in contact with you to do this. What are your thoughts on being called on for a commentary like this 30 years later?
Well, it's not the first and only 30 years later show or movie that I've been a part of that is celebrated. And I think it just applauds, the movies that can stand the test of time or the TV shows that can hold up. Because, we had 30 years not too long ago of Just One of the Guys, a movie I was in. It was a coming of age teenage flick. And that they have a huge cult following, just like Knight Rider does. And, a lot of, here's the beginning. Yeah. So it was such a great experience. It really was. And, it's like a little family. The actors get to know each other. Oh yeah, I worked with you on the Coca-Cola commercial. And then you're on the episode of Knight Rider. They go, oh yeah, we did that Nike thing. Or, it's like, you kind of get to know each other.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But the fire scene was the most intense.
Yeah, I can imagine. Also the most time consuming.
And planning. Yeah. Planning for very little time actually working, but a lot of security, safety and planning. Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember which part of the stunt crew was in charge of that?
The fire people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It makes sense.
Because there's stunt people that do falls.
Yeah.
Right. There's stunt people who work with horses. There's stunt people that make sure that the fire situations are safe and accurate. Then there's the stunt people who don't really do the stunts, but they actually are in charge of the air mattress that you fall on and making sure that it's properly working. And so there's so many elements of the stunt world. And with my ex-husband being on the show called The A-Team, which was all about stunts, we had almost every stunt guy that worked in Hollywood come through that show. So I kind of knew a lot of the stunt people.
Yeah. So great. Well, Toni, we're coming to an end now. It's 2022. It's the 40th anniversary of Knight Rider. I don't know if you have any words to say to the fans of Knight Rider.
Oh, look at you freezing a frame on my name. Aren't you cute? That's awesome. Well, you know, it is a really, really sweet show that just became such a hit. The idea that this talking car, I mean, every little boy, but boys grow into men and men continue having their toys. And so the fact that there's a talking friggin' car that can do all this great stuff and was saving the day. I mean, it's another little childhood hero situation. And to be a part of TV history is really cool. I mean, I like being part of Hollywood in the positive sense, because there's some really, really good people in Hollywood. There really are.
Great. Okay.
And my website, TonyHudson.com, is just getting built and out there, but that's where you could find me if you wanted to read my audio book or find out what I'm doing and going on. So it's just the content's being built, but TonyHudson.com is definitely where you can keep track.
Yeah, I'll urge all you Knight Rider fans watching this to go there. It's a lot about lifestyle, and I think compared to, at least to my lifestyle, there's definitely some improvements that can be made. Tony.
Well, and especially, I was going to say, especially in the climate of the whole COVID thing. I mean, you know, we want to be strong and healthy and have immune systems, and I just chose to look at that a long time ago. I'm just ahead of the game, so I just like to share with what I know, because it's been no pun intended, a lifesaver.
Yeah. So great.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end the official part here. So thanks, Tony, for being with us. Thanks for this commentary. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jacob. Really, I'm glad we finally connected. I know I kind of, I've been moving around. We moved from Georgia back to California, so I got a little crazy, but now we got it figured out.
It's fantastic. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
And bye to the Knight Rider fans.
Yes, goodbye, Knight Rider fans. What was my name in this show?
It was Maxine Fleming.
Maxine Fleming says.
That was, yeah.
Finding out. Maxine Fleming, my horse was, yeah.
King Jack, yeah. So.
King Jack. Quick little story, real quick. So I'm married to Dirk Benedict. He's shooting a 2-hour episode on a cruise ship in Mexico, and the whole A-team. We're shooting A-team, and so I'm on the ship for the whole thing. And I'm going to get lunch, and I walk through a little doorway, and a little 8-year-old kid looks up to me and he goes, "How's King Jack?"
That's nice.
I said, "Are you serious?" He recognized me from this episode.
Yeah.
And asked me how my horse was by name.
Yeah.
That was something.
That is impressive, yeah.
And now, while we listen to Joe's selection of Knight Rider music that we received directly from Don Peake himself, we'd like to thank these Patreon supporters. Look at you guys scrolling up the screen to my right. Wait a minute, how can you tell which side is my right, since you can't see me because I'm not on camera? Oh well, you know what I mean. We're featuring these fine supporters at our Knight Rider Prop Restorer level. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you at the Knight Rider History Hunter level, we're recognizing you right now in the description. Now, if you enjoyed seeing this golden nugget of Knight Rider history being rescued from obscurity, then please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support would empower us to bring you even more of these historical nuggets. We are the Knight Rider Historians. Till next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.